Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peace that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to our final episode of the week on this amazing Friday. I'm feeling real good, so I'm going to just go ahead and call it a Feel Good Friday today. I'm so glad y'all are joining us. I'm excited because I got some amazing folks in the building. We're going to be talking to Councilmember Saka about his journey into leadership. And later on in the show, my brother, Romell Witherspoon, is in the building. We're going to be talking about how he is an inspirational speaker and also a mentor, how he gives to community. So I'm so great that both of them, I'm glad they're both here. And you know, for me, there's always something inspirational about all of the guests. So y'all know later on in the show, I want you to start taking your notes now because I will ask how you were inspired by what they share here today. Of course, it is the top of the show, so it's a great time to tag and share the stream, y'all. Participate with us, and I appreciate your participation. You're helping us grow here on the Day with Trae. Go ahead and tag and share this stream with folks who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on our show, The Day with Trae. If you cannot watch our TV show, we still have you covered because believe it or not, we are also a podcast. So go ahead and search for us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. You'll find us on whatever platform is your favorite. Well, up next, I get the opportunity to speak to Councilmember Saka. Hi.
Hi, Trae. Excited to be here. Thank you.
Glad you're here and joining me today. And I'm going to get into the council member stuff first because I want to ask about your journey, but this is really important. What district are you representing? And tell us a bit about your seat in City Council.
Yeah, thank you, Trae. So I represent District 1 in the Seattle City Council, which includes neighborhood-wise West Seattle, South Park, SoDo, Georgetown, and of course, Pioneer Square. So those 5 neighborhoods.
Well, there's a lot to be done in those 5 neighborhoods, and they're also eclectic in their own right. I mean, if I think about the differences between Georgetown and Pioneer Square, there may be some similarities, but also a lot of differences. How do you reconcile with those different neighborhoods in your role?
Yeah, I've reconciled as best as I can by showing up for each and every one of those neighborhoods. In my first 100 days of office, I already had the opportunity to conduct a small business listening session and walking tours where we went neighborhood by neighborhood and met with small business owners and their workers and just to learn about some of the issues in those individual neighborhoods. They're all different. They all don't think the same. I can attest to that. But just to better understand their challenges. And so hopefully with the goal of better empowering me as their elected representative in Seattle City government to make the best policy decisions for them all.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about actually hearing from the people and being led by that, which I think is so necessary for anyone who is an elected official. And I think, you know, folks come in with their ideas of what they want to do, but if you don't have that connected to where, you know, the people really need the help the most, oftentimes it kind of is a hit or miss type of thing. So I'm glad that you're doing that. You know, we'll get back to some council member talk, but I want to talk about the beginnings. I mean, you know, what made you say, I need to get into leadership and maybe politics is the way to do that? Tell us more.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great question, Trae. I don't know for me if there was just sort of one thing, one singular event or one set of circumstances that led me to the dais at Seattle City Council. Probably a culmination of things, but you know, for me, my background, I served in the Air Force and Air Force Reserves right after 9/11, and that was a terrorist attack on this country. I was down. I had just graduated from high school, Ken Meridian High School in Kent, go Royals, and was down a few weeks later after 9/11 down at the recruiter station, raising my right hand and signing up. And I did it because it was out of a patriotic sense of duty, but also my father had also served, so kind of a legacy of service, if you will. And then selfishly, I was just a kid from Kent. My dad was a frontline warehouse worker in Kent. So, you know, my economic opportunities coming out of high school were somewhat limited. So selfishly, I wanted some money for school. And so, yeah, I ended up serving for about 10 years, worked my way up the military rank structure very quickly, very fortunate for that. Ended up commissioning, went to undergrad at the University of Washington under the GI Bill. Some of my commanders and senior leaders, senior officers in my old military unit saw something in me, and they sort of tapped me on the shoulder to become an officer, where I got to lead and manage 80% of the enlisted troop force as an officer. And then I went to law school, and here I am fixing potholes. So yeah, but I just always wanted to pay it forward, if you will, in many ways. Ever since, especially since I became a lawyer for the last 10 years, I've worked in some fancy places, some places I felt honestly like imposter syndrome was creeping up, felt like I had no business being a part of, to be perfectly honest with you. And all of those experiences made me better, and I still fought hard to make sure pay it for whatever my new skill set in that case was legal policy and advocacy skills, served on the board of the Metropolitan Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle, served on the board of Lauren Miller Bar Association, a black bar association full of black lawyers across the state of Washington. Served on so many boards and commissions, I lost count, Trae, and then just trying to pay it forward, and then I wanted to use that again at the city level, so I decided to run. But in any event,
well, this is interesting for me because you think going to law school and practicing law is something that is really needed for so many different folks to be able to see themselves in their attorney. And I don't know which kind of law you practice, but I think in general, there's a sense of a strong need. And so fulfilling those needs is so key for community, but it also oftentimes is the launching pad to leadership. And to political career. I mean, when you thought about, running for this seat in Seattle City Council, what were some of those goals that you're really hoping to make a difference in? What kind of areas do you really want to make sure you're making an impact?
Yeah, it's a great question. The number one area that drove me to run, and therefore impelled my decision to run, and just underlines everything I do and kind of how I show up. As a concerned father, it's public safety. Concerned dad of 3 young kids, it's public safety. And yeah, without diving too deep in some of the politics of all this, but I'll just say there in Seattle in particular, Seattle politics in particular, there's a lot of well-intended people who purport to speak on behalf of people of color and black people and immigrant refugees, and acting like they know what's best. And I think we need to be in these spaces and in these seats making these decisions. Regardless of whether you agree or disagree with me on policy, I think people from these backgrounds and from these communities need to be the ones in the room making the decisions at the time. And so that was, and I didn't feel like I had a lot of support on the public safety front, and I wanted to better center the voices that I felt were more representative of community, because people can pick and choose, people can cherry pick all they want, and they did and they do, but in any event, I don't want to dive too deep because that's a
well, I mean, I don't want to get you off your soapbox here, but I understand and I agree. I think that public safety is one of those things that, especially in the wake of, George Floyd and kind of after this like massive amount of collective community voice, it's hard to think back about how things were done before without community voice. And it almost is like one of those things that will behoove anyone as an elected official to be sure that we're being guided by community voice. And there is a wide spectrum of what that means, right? Some folks want more police, some folks want community resources, but ultimately I think that it's important to be empowered by the voice of the collective body of people that you're serving. So I appreciate you taking that approach to this. When you think about some of the things that you're really looking forward to as a city council member, tell us some of those things that are really like enlightening you in terms of your role now. You got the seat. What you gonna do with it, man?
Love it, Trae. So public safety, always near and dear, always looking for opportunities to better center community voices, including by hiring more police and making sure we have more prevention community programs and resources in place. I think it's a yes and personally, But so anyways, public safety is always something that's going to be sort of near and dear to me. But I have the pleasure and frankly honor of serving as the chair of the Seattle Transportation Committee. And so anything and everything transportation related is really top of mind. I've been told, and I was just reminded earlier that one of the monikers I've earned is the king of potholes, if you will. But sometimes I'm going to have to be the prince of potholes or whatever it is. I don't like titles. That mean frankly nothing to me. It's the underlying work that matters and the impact of the work. And one of the outcomes I want to see ideally by the end of my tenure on the council, whatever that is to make a real tangible difference in people's everyday lives. And potholes, quickly filling those, is one good example in my view of doing exactly that. Quickly filling potholes and also doing some of the prevention work to make sure, because as we know, the incident of potholes, they rise on roads that are in bad state of overall repair and or disrepair. And so, I'm trying to get upstream, if you will, address the root causes. So king of pothole repairs and king of pothole prevention with some of that better maintenance work on those roads. So, yeah.
Well, this is important, and I think either way, whatever you're involved in as a council member, you got to be passionate about it. So I appreciate you bringing that passion to the role. Of course, if folks want to stay tapped in to the amazing work you're doing, or maybe be able to share their opinion, their voice as a Seattleite in your district, look right here. Let them know how they tap in.
Yeah, you tap in real easy. Find me on the socials. Really easy to find in there. My official council member page, not the campaign, my official council member stuff. Also, subscribe to my email listserv. Out of everyone on the council, I'm told that I have one of the highest email contact lists, and we can analyze the performance data of all that. One of the highest rates of openage, of people actually opening that. So it is really important for me and my office to be transparent. That's why me and my staff, we work together to work hard on sending out these regular email updates that lets you all know exactly what I'm working on, how I'm approaching issues. The very last email that we sent out, we included a survey, community survey, Trae, because I'm trying to be very intentional about how I go about collecting feedback, and a survey is one important way. So community survey, this one on transportation, potholes, what transportation priorities, whether it's transit, potholes, bridge maintenance, road repairs, modernization, all the things. What's important to you all? Because what's important to you all is important. What's important to me. So
there we go.
That's how, in a nutshell.
There it is.
Yeah.
And it's great that you actually come on this week. We talked about the transportation levy renewal earlier this week. So I think we're on par here. It's great to hear that folks are being led by community voice. Thank you so much, Councilmember Rob Saka.
Trae, well, we're not in City Hall, so for here, it's just Rob.
Okay.
But thank you,
Rob.
Trae. My pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Y'all stay tuned, because after this short break, we got Romell Witherspoon in the building. We're going to be talking about his journey as an inspirational speaker and mentor, and the ways that he is consistently giving back to community. Y'all don't want to miss this inspiration. Stay tuned. Right after this short break, you're watching The Day with Trae.
Hello, my name is Takia Ward, aka T-Dub. I am the founder of the Resole 206. We are Seattle's first dry cleaner for sneakers. We specialize in cleaning, restoring, and customizing services here in the Central District of Seattle, Washington. On March 7th, we suffered a break-in at our shop, with over 25 pairs of shoes being taken and 15,000 in immediate losses. It has completely devastated our business and definitely sent us for a loop. We are fortunate and grateful that our community has been behind us every step of the way. And we are hopeful that support will continue as we recover from this devastating loss. The Central District has always been the cornerstone for Black and Brown entrepreneurship. And it's this neighborhood that inspired me to open the Resole 206. The connection between residents and retail has always been one that I've truly appreciated. However, it appears lately that we've lost touch with one another, leading to some unfortunate events. To that, I say no more. This situation has taught me just how important community and connection are, not only to my business, but to the building of a neighborhood that is safe and enjoyable for everyone. And as we embark on our recovery journey, we intend to lead with a united mindset that we can get through and overcome any obstacle together. I want to thank everyone for their messages of encouragement. I want to thank my family and friends for being by my side, Converge Media for the unwavering uplift, and I want to thank my customers for their continued business and support. If you want to support me and the Resole 206 in our recovery efforts, head over to our website, www.theresole206.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday, and I have the pleasure of being with my brother, Romell Witherspoon, in the building. What's up, bro?
What's happening, Trae? How you feeling?
Good. You know, this is really special for me because, you know, we grew up together, and it's beautiful because you are doing so many amazing things in the community. But for those who may not know, I want to give a little bit of that history. What got you to say, I need to take my experiences to the platform where I'm an inspirational speaker out here motivating the people?
Well, first of all, let me give your kudos and give my flowers to you that you so well deserve. You have been, your stick-to-itiveness does not go unseen. Everybody knows what to expect every time you pop up on the screen. So you're trending in the eyes and the minds and the hearts of the community. So I need you to hear that from me. But the perspective of getting involved in inspiration, it was kind of a default. I feel like as a child, as a youth, as a kid, it's important to listen to the voice that's not being heard. And sometimes there's always going to be a voice on the inside that decides to be confident or not. And I realized that not being confident was too accessible. And the moment I did become confident, I said, oh, wait a minute, this is the key. And now it's my job to make sure no one else runs into that bridge that the eyes can't see. So that's initially what got me involved in wanting to be a leader and an inspirational speaker. And it was no mystery that I was the captain of the football team, basketball team, baseball team, all by default of being an inspiration to my teammates. So yeah, that's just kind of how it begun for me.
Well, you're so right about the something inside. And this is why I'm always encouraging people to do something, to be a part of the solution, because there's something inside, only brews inside, but when you bring it outside, that's when people get to experience it. So I really appreciate you sharing that, because there has to be that inner driver that keeps you going.
Yeah.
But yeah, no secret as to why you were the captain. You were always one who was ready to give an inspirational word to a teammate, to a friend, to family. That's something that you've been able to carry with you. How has it been to receive folks, you know, feeling like, wait a minute, you just changed it for me. You just switched it on for me. How has that been for you?
I think that is the ultimate reward, is when you can not temporarily but permanently pivot the mind of a person who has become accustomed to mediocrity. When they can say, you know what, I can actually dig a little bit deeper and find a new perspective, and that happiness is not in how much money you attain. When I had the pleasure of serving as the player development and chaplain for the Lakers for 4 years, shout out to Magic Johnson for giving me that opportunity. He couldn't speak at AEG. Now, mind you, Trae, AEG owns Coachella. They own Crypto Arena. They own Rockefeller. I mean, you name it. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. And he couldn't make it to this event. And he said, Romell, I need a favor. If you can just 25 to 30 minutes. I was supposed to be an hour. They understood I'm not coming. I said, cool. I realized that I didn't pass the eye test originally because I'm in a room full of billionaires and millionaires. And so I knew my interest arousal had to be quick. And so I thanked them for having me to have this opportunity. And then I jumped right to it. And I said, something I realized that some people are so poor, all they have is money.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can see them go, can you say that again? I missed. I just want to make sure I heard. I said, some people are so poor, all they have is money. So when you say, how does it feel for people to pivot? I realize that the real success is not in the job you obtain. It's not in how much money you have in your account. I've seen people expire from this earth prematurely because of too much of what somebody else is praying for. But when you can connect the dots outside of what is monetary, and your mind, your heart, and your spirit isn't aligned, and you believe that this thumbprint is the only one in the world, so as a result, I'll never second guess. I'm a believer every day. If I miss shot number 12, I bet I make 13. If I don't get job number 4, I guarantee I get job number 5. that has no expiration date, and it is the cheat code for our community. But it is also why African Americans, we literally have durability over ability. So you might be quicker, faster, stronger, more money born into it. That's great. But I'm going to be here over and over and over. Even Bill Gates said, when you're born poor, it's not your fault. Yeah. You die poor, it's your fault.
That's on you.
And to take it a step further, when you're born, Trae, you look like your parents. But when you die, you look like your decisions. And that's where I want us to put our equity in, put our stock in decision making.
I mean, you're so right about this though, too. We all have the power to choose. And the power of choice is so inspiring when you make the right choices in your life. But it also is something that others really get to resonate with. You know, when you think about the ways that you've been able to help folks along the way, and, you know, some folks have been like, yo, look, man, I don't know. I don't know about none of this stuff you talk about, or like my life experiences are not taking me there. You know, there has to be something within you that connects to a personal piece for you that can bring it out for someone else. What are some of those personal pieces for you that anchor you in this work?
I think some of the personal pieces for me that anchor me in this work is the power of a way out. That's really what it's about. And so you know what's interesting? Before you take off on a plane and the stewardess is giving all of these, they say, in case of emergency, secure your mask first before helping someone else. So my prayer is that I would always find my way out first. So like Harriet Tubman, now I can actually come back because I see the path that's blazed ahead. And so one thing I know is for certain, and two things that are for sure, even though you may have felt like you've been going the wrong way for so long, and I'm answering the question in terms of how I'm anchored, you feel like, man, I've been doing this wrong for 2 years. If I drove an hour in the wrong direction, isn't the law of gravity says I have to go back that way for an hour and then, but this is the way God works and sometimes the way life works. God will move the door to where you are, even though you went the wrong way for so long, because it's the moment you decide. That's what anchors me, is that the moment I decide, that means I've triggered the center of gravity and have now officially pivoted into a new direction. And once the mind and the heart become new, well, nothing else matters after that.
There it is. Yeah. There it is. It's like the awakening, right? Like we all have to go through that moment of awakening. And, you know, people talk about living in purpose on purpose. And I love that because it is so true, but you don't know that you're there until you're there. Yeah. And that's what's so interesting for me is, you know, all of the things that I was doing before, I wouldn't have known. Like in 2017, you couldn't have told me I was going to have my own show and I get to be my own personality. There was all of these things that made you feel like, oh man, in order for me to do that, I got to conform to this, or I got to be able to show this, or I got to be able to, because you're, you know, in this layer of pleasing, but it's not till you please yourself that people then resonate with what you're actually showcasing out there. Well, you know, tell us a bit about how this now kind of permeates into mentorship, because young folks definitely got to be able to be inspired to be themselves, but there's a way that you bring folks along to that realization. Tell us more.
Sure. So I serve as the mentorship director for Seattle Parks and Recreation. So shout out to the Chief of Staff, Christopher Williams. Shout out to new Superintendent AP Diaz. They are fantastic to work under. And obviously shout out to the boss man in charge, our very own Mayor Bruce Harold, all three of which have empowered me to express and delegate the vision that they very much so believe in from a mentorship perspective. But I found that without this lane, and by the way, mentorship is a operative word that has a multiplicity of meanings. It does not just have one meaning, but I believe that it is in the eyes of the beholder. So if you give me a golf club, it's worth $200. Take the same golf club and give it to Tiger Woods, it's worth $200 million. Yeah. Same club, depends on whose hand it's in. So there's so much mentorship going on in the world, but when it's in my hands, it's gonna hit a little bit different. And it's because the key is to answer questions that our youth are not asking, while all at the same time getting ahead of the curve. Just like we have a budget and we see how much we want to spend, and we see it, you have to budget the mentorship and budget the attitude and budget the perspective as well, because I know no matter what you get in life, without discipline, you will not retain it. you will not maintain it. There will not be a level of longevity involved. And so as a result of that, my job is to create these narratives. We have 4 different tiers of mentorship. We have the anchor, we have the evolving entourage, we have the bridge, and we have the pathfinder. The pathfinder. And they all are different levels of mentorship, which we'll save for another time. But my job is to create as many entryways as possible for our young boys and girls to be able to look and go, wow, I want that. And now how did you get there?
Yeah.
Because some of them want it, but don't have the grace to carry it to get there. So if you do want to become a lawyer, you better be prepared for a lot of school and a lot of reading. If you don't love those 2 things, then man, we can kind of weed out what people like and don't like. But Les Brown said it best. He said, some people don't aim at something and miss. They aim at nothing, Trae, and hit nothing dead on the head. And so the whole point of mentorship is to give our youth a target that will allow them to hit what it is that they're looking for dead on the head.
This is so important, and it's so true. I get excited because as a mother, I know when you have your own children, there's like a whole nother layer, I think, that opens up in our mind, friends, right? Yeah. About the way that we see the world and especially the ways that we're utilizing our energy to permeate this world into a better existence, into a better way. Correct. And a better route. So I really appreciate you sharing that because without it, young folks feel that hey, you're intimidated. You're being a little bit fake right now. We can feel this, it's not real. Exactly. Yeah. And so it's so necessary. But also, too, I want to say there's something special about you being rooted in the Pacific Northwest and doing this work up here. And I want to just ask you about why you said, no, I'm right here. This is home. I'm going to make sure that all my world travels, wherever I go, that I bring these skills back to this area.
It's a catch-22, and I'll try to not belabor this answer because it is a loaded answer, but I owe this city. I'm a product of Seattle. I'm the beneficiary of this city. I've had the luxury to be a state champion at Rainier Beach High School twice. We're not here to talk about that, but I just figure we here.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But so I went from Rainier Beach to Savannah, Georgia, from Savannah, Georgia to New York City, from New York City to Los Angeles, and back here. And so when I look at my confidence and when I look at my discipline, I realize this city gave that to me. And so as much as I've been a journeyman and I've been fortunate enough to be a part of the Lakers franchise, I've been on over 15 different shows. I've been on set and shared the same camera lens as Donnie Wahlberg, as Taya Leone, you name it. The list goes on and on and on. And then I realized, wait a minute, where did you get it from? And it is my job to give it back so it can be the gift that keeps on giving. With an opportunity now for me to leave and go back to Los Angeles, for me to leave right now and go back to New York, it's this time, at this moment, that I feel like my legacy has got to live in the hearts and minds. And here's my reasoning. A real inheritance, when you start talking about children, I think about and I have 4, BJ, Mariah, Braden, and little Romell. And I realized, Trae, that an inheritance is not what you leave to your children. It's what you leave in them. I can leave him $10 million. With no discipline, he will lose it. But if I leave in him how to go get it, I can leave him nothing and he will expire from this earth with everything. That's what I feel like I owe to my city. And if I can bridge that gap right there between thoughts becoming things and then being a dog in the way that you think about it. So when you lace your sneakers up and wake up and you go command the day, you go no means next. And if you do tell me no, I promise you're going to lose sleep one day. And you're going to say, you know what? I had an opportunity to hire him. Yes, you did. And so once we put that inside of them, it's a battery that's operated off of solar where you don't have to charge it. Every time the sun comes out, it's going to charge me regardless. And so that's kind of my perspective on mentorship and why I feel like my role right now as a mentorship director in the city is so premium, but it has to be hinged on inspiration because motivation has the potential to have an expiration date. And if you don't believe me, just ask your New Year's resolutions. Yeah. You felt in the mood for a moment, but when you're inspired, that's the psychological process. Now you have calculated steps as to why it'll work. It's like showing your work.
Yeah, no, this is why I talk about inspiration all the time. I mean, this show is really about creating impact media, inspiring folks and informing folks. And that's, for me, that inspiration is always key. But it kind of brings me to something here I want to ask you, because when I think about the Black Media Matter Studios, I think about other spaces, that we have within the city. I want to know why it's so important for us to have spaces like this right here in our hometown where they are culturally responsive, they're rooted in the right things. Tell us why it's so important to have spaces like this.
Couple things. One, shout out to Converge. And this studio right here, this Black Media Matters studio, it's so legendary. Like, it's not about where it's been, it's about where it's going. And so for one, I feel honored to be in this space. I think a window of opportunity for us to have spaces is so high level. And what I'll start by is I'll pose a question, and I'm going somewhere with this. You get pulled over by the police, Trae, what's the first thing they ask you for?
ID.
Absolutely, there it is. And the reason why we need these spaces is because we want to be able to showcase to the world who we are. Yeah. And all identification does is tell him who you are so he can confirm he's got the right person one way or another. And so the reason why these spaces are so important is before life pulls us over, before society even pulls us over, before they start judging us, I'm gonna tell you what my identification is in my space so you don't have to wonder anymore. I am a winner. The highest act of love is discipline. It is not over until I win. I am going to find a way to be successful. I am not going to fall victim to the thoughts and to the foul things that have come my way. When we're in these spaces, now it's like COVID. You've never seen COVID, but you felt it. And that's why these spaces are premium in our city. That's why it's in Black America, period. For African Americans in particular, young boys, young girls, these spaces are so valuable because we get to tell people our identification. Even if we got fingerprint when you're born, literally, what you name it, and you got social security, it's to showcase your ID so they can guarantee they got the right person. It's called DNA. These spaces give us a chance to show our thumbprint, so when they do ask about Converge, you don't have to wonder, just go look at the spaces. We've already given you our identification. We're here being premeditative in every single thing that we're doing. Everything is calculated. That's why when I had the opportunity and O reached out, it wasn't even a thought. I live for moments like this. And somebody might stumble on this 2 years later, who knows? But the opportunities don't disappear though, Trae, they go to other people. And I want these spaces to be an opportunity for people to come in and get a ROI, a return on the investment. And the most important thing you can invest is not money, it is time.
Romell, powerful. I can't thank you enough for giving me some of your time today and investing in this amazing space and in this show, The Day with Trae. Thank you so much for all the work that you are continuing to do. If folks are trying to tap in, they got young people in their lives, they want to be connected to Parks and Rec and what you're doing there, or they want to come and be inspired by you, how do they follow you? How do they stay plugged in and tapped in? Look right there, let them know.
I'm gonna give you all a nugget before I give you this information, and I hope we got an extra 49 and a half seconds for this. But there was 2 lumberjacks, Trae, and they were chopping wood. As a matter of fact, Trae, I'm gonna speak to the masses. There were 2 lumberjacks, and they would always chop wood at the same time every day. But one lumberjack would leave for an hour every day and then come back, while the other lumberjack never took a break. But the guy who left for an hour would always eventually end up chopping more wood in the day. This went on for months. So the man couldn't help himself, and he asked him, he said, bro, where do you go for this hour? I'm not taking no breaks. I'm in here grinding. I'm working. I'm doing everything. And you're chopping more wood. Where are you going for that hour? He said, I'm going to sharpen my axe. So when he comes back, his tool is more efficient. Don't mistake grinding for not getting sleep, not getting rest. You've got to sharpen your axe every single day so you can be more efficient with the work, more efficient with the time. Efficiency over everything. With that being said, yeah, somebody better write that down. Take a note right now. I know you're watching. But you could Romell_Witherspoon as far as my personal social media. And then we have our C Mentorship, SEA Mentorship, which is our Seattle Parks and Rec mentorship Instagram that we're trying to get off the ground. That's currently live and active right now. On the 17th of this month, April 17th at Rainier Community Center from 6 to 8, we have a very, very, very dope setup. Over 45 community-based organizations. A resource fair will be there. If you're looking for a job, if you're looking for an opportunity to network, we got people fixing resumes. We got people talking about reputation, and it's hosted by yours truly. So be there, or you're gonna have to come see about me one way or another. But I'm hoping that pretty much sums up everything that we're doing. And yeah, we're around. We're gonna be here.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank
It
you.
is so necessary. Our city is better because you brought your brilliance back to it. Thank you, brother.
That's love. I got you always.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, y'all. The inspiration abounds. I'm telling you, I get to wrap up this beautiful week right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Looking for laughs? Looking for love? Fast Talking Figaro has got you covered. Toe-tapping melodies, lively staging, and colorful costumes. Don't miss The Barber of Seville, May 4th through 19th at McCall Hall. Tickets at seattleopera.org.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client, discussing their fields, and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. I'll see you guys in a few.
Africatown Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africatown Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africatown Plaza is a love letter to the community.
What's up, everybody? Trae Holiday here with a special announcement. Something sexy for the city is coming to our town, Tacoma Dome, May 3rd. You want to get your tickets today because you want to see Ashanti, Monica, Maya, Kiki Wyatt, and Anne Marie. Y'all, I have the pleasure of emceeing this phenomenal concert. Join me and get your tickets today for an epic performance from these R&B divas.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday, and I can't thank y'all enough for joining me this week. I got to give a huge shout out to my guest today, Rob Saka. He said, don't call him Councilmember, but Councilmember Rob Saka. Thank you for being here, sharing your journey with us and why you threw your hat in the race and how you're using it for the people in your district and beyond. And a huge shout out to my bro, Romell Witherspoon, for being here. Not only did he ignite us in this space with his inspiration, but it was also a great reminder of why we need to bring our brilliance back to the places that raised us up. I appreciate him sharing that. I appreciate him sharing the need for spaces like this to exist, because it is so true. And I'm telling you right now, as I said to him, this show is here to inspire, inform, and impact you all. That's what we're doing. Those are the 3 I's that I kind of live by. They help guide me in my way. And honestly, it's because of all of you out there that have been pouring back into me, telling me how inspiring this is and how you've been able to find your way, get plugged in with community-based organizations, get resources, get the information you need. That's why we continue here. And so I thank you for being on this journey with me as we grow and as we bring you more people who are doing great work in our community, y'all. It's been a fantastic week on this amazing Feel Good Friday. Y'all know, tap in, don't tap out, as they say. That's kudos to my brother, KY King Garrett. Much love to all of y'all. And for me, until Monday at 11 a.m. Peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.